Hello, everyone. Before we dive in, be sure to check our previous stories. Drop your thoughts, feelings, and lessons in the comments below. Like the video and subscribe so you never miss stories like this. Let's get into it. I caught him on a Friday at 11:43 p.m., the kind of exact time that tattoos itself on your memory. Malik's office lights were still on after the client gala, blinds half closed like they were trying to spare me. Through the glass conference room, I saw a kiss that started playful and turned serious. His coworker Kendra. Perfume like citrus and trouble. He flinched when he saw me in the reflection, shoved back, stammered, "Tiana, this is not." But it was. Paperwork scattered. My heart did too. I put the cupcakes I brought on the table like evidence and left. Outside, Chicago air pressed cold hands to my cheeks. Malik followed, tie crooked. Sorry rushing out at him like a busted hydrant. It was stupid. It was one time. No plans, no secrets, no us being over. He tried to block my path without touching me, whispering promises at the speed of panic. Therapy. Full no contact. He'd changed teams, floors, careers. Whatever. I kept walking. I didn't raise my voice. I saved my breath of stairs. In the Uber, the driver asked, "Bad day?" I said, "Just a plot twist." He offered gum like first aid. The worst part was how good we'd been. For 2 years, we were a playlist that never skipped. Sunday jazz at Andy's. Wednesday plant watering dates. Saturday Target runs where Malik pretended every aisle was a runway. He ironed my interview suits. I packed his lunches with little sticky notes that said things like, "Crush them legally." We fought about nothing serious. Thermostats. Which hot sauce is the one true hot sauce? Whether my bonnet is a romantic accessory, it is. Love felt like a well-lit kitchen. Warm, useful, hours. That's the kitchen I drove home to alone. Malik went on an apology tour. He wrote a letter with handwriting I didn't recognize. Shaking, humble, no excuses. He blocked Kendra in real time, deleting numbers I watched disappear. He called a therapist, booked the first slot, then offered to forward confirmation. He cried against my door and kept his hands in his pockets. "I fell," he said, "but I didn't move in there." When your person breaks, you learn how loud regret can be. I didn't open the door. I texted his sister to collect him. She did, and left a Tupperware jollof like a peace treaty. My group chat split into 2 religions, forgiveness and fire. Maya said, "One lapse isn't a lifestyle. Don't torch a house because of a candle." Dee said, "Girl, he cheated in the building with HR, set him free and the blazer too." My mother listened and made tea. "Decide slow," she said. "Hurt hurries people into dumb." I scroll photos. Our picnic on the lakeshore. His ridiculous proposal to adopt a cactus. The time he surprised me with Beyoncé tickets, and we screamed like teenagers. I slept on the couch to avoid the bed that still remembered us. Then my ex, DeAndre, slid into my DMs like a bad subplot. "You good?" he typed, then added a flexing emoji and a throwback memory of our Cancun trip, like bait. I should have blocked him. Instead, Hurt started negotiating. Revenge pitched itself as therapy without copay. I remembered DeAndre's laugh, his motorcycle, the way he made rooms pay attention. Malik called again, voice raw. "Please, T, let me make this right." I said I needed time. What I took was a plan. I turned my location back on, the way you set a stage before the actors arrive. Before everything broke, our bodies had a language. On a lazy Sunday, sunlight washed our living room gold. Malik shook pancake batter like a maraca, kissed my shoulder, and we danced barefoot to her. The kiss turned deliberate, consensual, unhurried, a soft yes echoed by another. He traced my spine like a sentence only he could read. I laughed into his neck. He whispered my name like a vow. We fit. That's what betrayal steals first. The memory of fitting. I clung to it, then hid it behind anger because tenderness felt like the enemy of justice. Malik asked to meet at the little Ethiopian spot where the owner calls everyone my child. He arrived early, eyes red, apology already loaded. "I was stupid and flattered and human in the worst way," he said. "I'll spend years proving you more important than a 10-minute fantasy." The owner brought tea and unsolicited counsel. "The mouth that breaks should learn to stitch," she said, tapping Malik's shoulder with a spoon. He nodded like a student. I stared at the steam. A better woman might have let the stitching start. I ordered extra injera and an exit plan. My revenge wasn't impulsive. It was scheduled. I told DeAndre to meet me at the rooftop bar Malik, and I loved the one with the string lights shaped like halos. I accidentally dropped that location in our shared calendar. He texted, "You're there?" I replied, "With someone who knows how to finish what he starts." DeAndre arrived grinning. Already a mistake. We hugged long enough for witnesses, then posed near the edge like a postcard of bad decisions. I ordered the cocktail Malik named after me. DeAndre whispered, "Miss me?" I whispered back, "Make sure he sees." Malik did. For minutes later, he stepped off the elevator. Hope and fear holding hands. He looked at DeAndre, then me, then the drink. "Tiana," he said gently, as if my name was a bridge and not a fuse. "Please." I lifted my glass. "You wanted elevated choices. Here we are, on a roof." He swallowed. "This isn't you." I thought about the cupcakes in the conference room. Maybe I found a version of me you couldn't reach. The line tasted like battery. He closed his eyes, nodded once like a man memorizing a loss, and walked away. I kept going. Petty as stamina. I left DeAndre's jacket on our couch, posted a boomerang of his hand on mine with the caption, "Outside." I turned the volume up on our shared TV so Malik would see the show I never watch. His cue that someone else was there. I let his toothbrush fall accidentally into the trash and sent a photo to our group chat. They were horrified or impressed depending on their church attendance. Malik texted once more, "Please stop. I'm trying to fight for us, but I won't wrestle your spite in public." He stopped pleading and started healing. He switched his therapy to twice a week, joined a boxing gym that smells like eucalyptus and second chances, blocked DeAndre on site, and returned my spare key with a note. "I love you enough not to be your punching bag." His cousin cracked jokes until I almost laughed. Malik fighting trauma and taxes at the same time, Olympic sport. He told our families the truth without shading me as a villain, which somehow made me look worse. My mom hugged me hard and said, "You can be right and still be wrong." DeAndre was a highlight reel, not a movie. He was late in ways that insulted clocks, generous with compliments he planned to recycle, and allergic to accountability. We looked good at brunch. We sounded hollow in silence. Still, I doubled down. Revenge has an installment plan. I wore dresses I knew Malik loved and made sure he saw them in places we used to go. I pretended the attention healed me. It didn't. It sprayed glitter on a crack and called a redesign. Glitter falls. Cracks widen. Word travel like gossip always does. Fast, wrong, and instrumented by aunties. "You seen Tiana?" They asked each other after church, their hats discouraging sin through architecture. My best friend Maya stopped, answering my performative texts. "I love you," she said, "but I don't co-sign arson." Dee, captain of Team Fire, finally blinked. "Girl, the building done burnt. Where you living now? In smoke?" I hated that everyone had a sermon, and none of them were the one I wanted. Applause for my pettiness. Applause is loud and short. Regret whispers but never shuts up. Malik wrote me a letter I didn't deserve and didn't earn. It wasn't begging. It was a catalog of what love did right and wrong. "I was careless with temptation," he wrote. "I turned to stumble into a fall by hiding it for 30 minutes too long. I offered repair. You offered spectacle. Love is not a revenge sport." He ended with, "I forgive you for what you're doing to me. I'm still working on forgiving you for what you're doing to yourself." I read it twice, then a third time, then pretended I didn't feel anything at all. At the block summer party, I arrived with DeAndre like a warning label. Malik came alone with a casserole. He swore up and down he actually made. Neighbors lined up to compliment him and avoid my eyes. Ms. Bernice from Forby whispered, "Baby, when you get to bridge, don't light it and then complain about swimming." DeAndre dabbed sweat with a napkin and asked if Malik was going to swing. He wasn't. He played spades, laughed, took advice from old men in lawn chairs, and left early to make his therapy appointment. Healing looks boring until you need it. Our counselor, yes, we had one scheduled before the implosion, texted confirm next week's couple slot. I invited DeAndre to prove a point even I couldn't explain. He arrived with sunglasses and attitude. The counselor blinked like a human smoke detector. "This is cruel," she said calmly. "On you, not him." I pretended not to understand, so she used smaller words about shame and self-sabotage. DeAndre sank in the couch like a man who'd wandered onto the wrong TV show. I left righteous and somehow smaller. Malik canceled the remaining sessions, forwarded me the refund like a line item. "We're done," Malik said, not unkindly, not weak. "I'll move out by Friday." I hated the efficiency. He packed with dignity, folding memories into boxes with tape that sounded final. He left a plan I always killed, and a note that said, "May this one live." My ring dish looked theatrical and empty. He hugged my mother goodbye in the hallway while I hid in the bedroom, suddenly allergic to my choices. He didn't slam a door. I wish he had. Slams give you something to be mad at. Quiet makes you hear yourself. DeAndre's charm expired on schedule. He forgot birthdays that weren't his, laughed at my new boundaries, and told a story about me at a party that belonged to me. When I asked what we were, he said, "Having a great time, shorty." Great times end at last call. I scrolled Malik's page and saw him at a boxing charity event. Smile small but present. He'd started a mentoring group at the community center, and teenagers who lied about their homework adored him. I typed proud in the comment box, then deleted it. Pride is not a boomerang. The erotic scene I'd weaponized became a ghost. With DeAndre with performance and echo, consensual but empty, a scene with lights and no story. After, I lay awake listening to a clock that sounded like judgment. With Malik, it had been laughter and breath and ridiculous inside jokes about my bonnet. You don't realize how sacred goofy intimacy is until you trade it for applause. I learned the hard way that bodies keep score and love hates being used as a scoreboard. I showered until the hot water gave up and still felt cold. Eventually, DeAndre demoted me without putting it in writing. Fewer texts, more pull-up later. An Instagram story with a blurred silhouette that wasn't mine. I asked directly. He shrugged. "You knew what this was." I wanted to be furious at the lack of poetry. Instead, I recognized my handwriting. I'd written this script when I chose Spite over Repair. The night he told me, "Don't catch feelings," I walked home under a sky that looked clean and felt cruel. My phone felt heavier than before, like it had saved every bad decision and was tired of carrying them. Malik thrived slowly. He didn't rush into love like a man trying to prove a point. He learned to cook 2 new dishes and bragged to no one. He laughed again, not loudly, not for show, but the kind of laugh that says a person made room for air. I saw him jogging by the lake, headphones on, piece tugging at his mouth. He didn't wave. He didn't glare either. He existed without me. The worst punishment isn't being hated. It's being unnecessary to someone whose name used a sound like home. I tried to apologize, the long, ugly kind. Malik met me at a coffee shop at noon when the baristas moved like dancers. I started with tears. He started with boundaries. "I accept your apology," he said, "and I release you. I offered therapy, a reboot, a re-anything." He shook his head. Forgiveness isn't a coupon for a sequel. He wished me healing and asked about my mother because he's that kind of man. I left with a paper cup and no cup holder, hot, unwieldy, my fault. Outside, a bus splashed my ankles. It felt like punctuation. People will say Tiana forgot the bliss. They're right. I let anger Photoshop our history. I replaced 2 years of kindness with a highlight reel of one night's stupidity. Then I burned the film. My Aunt Nessa pulled me aside at Thanksgiving and said, "Baby, don't weaponize your pretty. You'll win battles and lose yourself." I wanted to argue, but the mac and cheese was too good and the truth too heavy. I started therapy for me this time, not as a performance piece. Truth is stubborn at first, then generous. It opened windows I'd painted shut. Malik started dating months later. I heard from the grapevine that she's kind, funny, allergic to performative brunch. They go hiking, which means he finally has someone who'll pretend to enjoy hiking. I am not that someone. I wanted to hate her. Instead, I hated the version of me that chose cruelty when I could have chosen clarity. My therapist asked, "Would reconciliation have been wise?" "Maybe not," I said, but I didn't even try wisdom. Sometimes closure is an adult coloring book. You stay in the lines until your hand remembers how. Funny returned in small mercy doses. I accidentally FaceTimed my therapist's cat. I joined a pottery class and made a bowl that looks like an apology. My mother finally laughed with me again when I admitted DeAndre's idea of romance was, "What you doing later?" and a shrug. She squeezed my hand. Next time, demand senses. I started demanding them for myself first. I was cruel. I am sorry. I will not be that woman again. The mirror doesn't clap, but it nods when you get it right. If you're reading this looking for permission to burn down your house because a window cracked, I'm your cautionary tale. Malik's cheating was a failure worthy of consequences. I chose consequences that included theater, strangers, and audience clapping for the wrong reasons. I built a stage of my pain and performed until even I got bored. The relationship didn't die the night I caught him. It died the night I invited my ex to the roof and called it self-care. Some endings are murder. Some are assisted. Mine was both. Malik, and I don't speak now, and that's healthy. When he posts about the boys he mentors graduating, I double-tap from a burner account like a ghost who finally learned manners. Kendra moved to another firm and is probably someone else's office mistake or miracle. DeAndre remains a walking plot device. I remain in progress. My apartment has plants living through winter and a candle that smells like boundaries. On Saturday mornings, I play the songs we loved and tell the room, we were real and we failed. The room forgives me. It is practice. I have new rules written where I see them. 1. Don't mistake revenge for recovery. 2. Choose repair or release. Never try both at once. 3. Never use a new person to stab an old wound. 4. If you love someone, don't make them the audience of your anger. 5. Apologize before the apology costs interest. Sometimes I read them out loud, then call my mother and tell her what I had for breakfast, so she knows I'm still here and eating carbs. Progress tastes like Tosum days. The last time I saw Malik, he crossed the street with a paper bag of oranges and a piece I didn't give him. We nodded like neighbors, which is what we are now. The sun hit his face, and I remembered the kitchen, her song, the pancake maraca, the easy yes of us. I remembered, and I didn't break. That's growth. If you're looking for a moral, here's mine. Don't forget the good just because the bad is loud. And if you choose the bad on purpose, don't expect the good to wait. It moves on. So should you. If you enjoyed this story, please comment, and share this video with your friends. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story drop.